Hey, good morning. Welcome back. You know, fall colors are going to be the topic of our In the Garden segment this morning. And normally we're out and about outside. Mr. Paul James is in-house for today, and we're going to talk about some of those fall colors. And you know what? We talked about that in our segment last weekend about how we always look at the trees and think, wow, beautiful fall colors. The shrubs we talked about last week. This year, what do you think about the colors that we've seen?
You know, I think they're okay. They've been better in years past, but that's what you get because of a number of different things. So first and foremost, when you're shopping for trees or shrubs that produce color, they have to be genetically hardwired to give you that fall color. And not all trees and shrubs do that. So that's the first thing you got to consider is the genetics of the plant.
Okay.
Beyond that, chlorophyll is what makes green leaves, okay? And in the leaves as well, in addition to chlorophyll, is something called the carotenes that gives carrots an orange color and all that. So the trees and shrubs that go yellow have an abundance of carotene. The chlorophyll fades away and the carotene comes on strong. But then you've got the reds, the purples, the crimsons. That's yet another pigment. They're called anthocyanins. And those come on strong when day length changes. So weather's a factor, and we'll get to that in a second. But mostly we're talking about changes in day length. The days get shorter, the nights get longer. That's what triggers those chemical processes to take place in the leaves.
Okay, so the first thing, if we want a tree that we're going to plant and we want that brilliant color, that's the first question we should ask is it genetically prepared to do that kind of color? And then after that, we let nature take its course.
Bingo, because there are some that are pretty ho-hum. You know, trees and shrubs, they just go brown, which is fine, I guess.
If you like brown, I guess.
Yeah, if you like brown. But if you really want that pop, yeah, it's got to be something that'll do it. Now, weather plays a role. Typically, the best color periods in the fall are when we've had somewhat dry, you need some moisture in the ground, so a wet spring is great, but a little dryness and some warm days followed by cool nights.
Okay.
And we've had a fair amount of that, so I think that explains why, you know, on a 1 to 10, I'd give this year about a 7.
About a 7, not too bad. That's a C.
Right, and it's actually lasting a little longer, you know, some of the changes took place early. Chinese pistache is one in particular that really started to color up great. But now you're seeing some of the maples and the oaks really start to color up.
Yeah, and it's been nice. It's been an elongated season out there. You know, one thing I think about is here in the cities when we obviously do a lot more watering than maybe we do, you know, out in the countryside. Do we usually see the colors in cities that are usually a lot more brilliant because we get more watering of these trees and shrubs?
Oftentimes you do, yes, because people are paying more attention to the watering needs of the plant.
Okay.
But, you know, you take those drives. Will was in Arkansas this week. I'm sure he had a spectacular drive because Arkansas just produces some amazing fall foliage.
All right, we have about 30 seconds left, Paul. So when do we expect the trees just to finally just give up on colors? Usually when we hit the certain temperature or?
Yes, when we get really hard freezes, and then especially when we get really strong winds. So, yeah, it's not going to last too much longer, it looks like, based on your forecast, which I always pay careful attention to.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
And, you know, I wore a fall color today. You dressed up in a suit.
Well, I had to.
No, you really don't.
Okay, that's it. I'm losing the tie. The next weather hit. Paul just said I could. You heard it right here. All right, Paul, I appreciate it. And again, if you didn't catch all these tips that Paul was giving you, you can always rewatch all of our garden segments online at KJRH.com. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.